There we go. Hello. Hope everybody's well. I don't know. I don't know if you're having crazy weather where you live, but where I live, one week it's been snow, and the next week it's been summer, and then we just had snow again yesterday, and next week it's supposed to be summer weather. It's totally mixed up, and it's supposed to be spring. But maybe that's what spring is about, is uncertainty and not sure if it's summer or winter yet, right? Going back and forth. Anyway, it's been very interesting and exciting and never knowing really what's next, which is kind of like the rest of our lives, right? We don't know what's in our karmic pockets, what's going to happen in the next moment. So with that in mind, we can jump into class and assume that we're going to have a class this morning. We never know. And have our last Lojong class of this session. I know that Tim is going to be teaching it soon. And so if you want to jump into it more, you will have another chance with Tim to do so. So let me share my screen. And move things around. Not there. Come on. There we go. And I'd like to ask Natasha. Can you?
Thank you so much.
Is that okay? Looks like you're
Yes,
at work, so I'm okay.
yes, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sashi Buki Jingshok Mitok Tra Rira Blingshi Niende Gempa Di Sangye Shindu Mikte Ulva Gi Drukun Nanda Shinga Chupa Damkuru Rana Mandala Karnirya Daya Ami Sangye Chudang Soki Choknam Chanchu Patu Ni Gyelse Chi Daki Jinso Gibe Sunam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Drupa Sho Sangye Chudang Soki Choknam Chanchu Pardu Dagni Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sunam Ki Drola Benche Sangye Drupa Sho Sangye Chudang Soki Choknam Chanchu Pardu Dagni Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sunam Ki Drola Benche Sangye Drupa Sho.
Thank you. I see that Natasha says, yes, they're having crazy weather up in Canada as well. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, of course, you know where we are. We're in ACI 14. how to develop a good heart. Class 10, and if you remember what I said, it's going to be class 11 in your reading. And yeah, I don't think there's a homework for it. So today's class is it's like dessert. It's a special treat. And then we'll have time to share our experiences of using Lojong. So just sit back, relax, and we're going to have story time. So the two last Lojongs that we're going to talk about, I'm just going to tell you the stories. And I'm going to read them to you. And for me, it's like a blessing to be able to do that, to hear myself tell these stories. So thank you for the opportunity to do that. Thank you to all of you for that. So it starts out, the first story starts out, herein are contained the instructions for I'm stumbling over my words this morning. Herein are contained the instructions for developing the good heart, which were passed down through the master translator Sumpa. So Sumpa is like a county or a prefecture. It's not a state, but it's a smaller governmental area within a state. And Geshe kept looking for who wrote this Lojong, because it just says passed down through Sumpa Lotsawa. Does anybody know what a Lotsawa is? Lotsawa is a translator. So it means a master translator. And you'll figure it out after you hear the story. And it starts out, Guru Namo, which means I bow down to my high holy Lama, or to my holy Lama. And then it continues. It happened that the accomplished saint, named the master translator of Sumpa, traveled to India. While there, he was able to study a great deal of the secret teachings. So in the old days, you had to take a big bag of gold dust, or as big as you could gather, as much gold dust as you could gather, with you when you went to ask for teachings. So it wasn't this, cheap just mandala thing where you put your fingers together that we offer before class. It's a little more serious. And the Indian pundits expected the Tibetans who came to request teachings to show that they were serious. And to show they were serious, they had to turn up with a bag of gold dust to get any teachings. So you had to work hard for many years just to get one teaching, not just sign in on a Zoom call, right? And more often than not, the Indian wise man, the Pandit, would take the gold dust and just go whoosh and just throw it to the wind. You know, it took a long time to get that much gold. There was even a case where somebody had to ransom his weight in gold to get certain teachings, right? They would put the person on a scale and they had to balance their weight with gold to get the teaching. And then the Indian masters, they would just toss it to the wind. How attached are you to your offerings? What if you gave your Lama offerings and they just passed it on to somebody else? Right? That shows the seriousness of your commitment and your wish. And you know, there are famous cliffs in India that they later found all these bags of gold and coins. You know, people would just go and throw them away. Why? Oh, it's so hard to keep track of stuff, right? If you're a wandering teacher and you've got all these bags of gold and stuff, you're not going to schlep them around with you, right? You're going to take the little you need and leave the rest. Anyway, on with our story. So while there, he was able to study a great deal of the secret teachings. And when it came time for him to return to Tibet, he took the leftover gold he had with him and he set off first to the seat of the diamond. What's the seat of the diamond? The seat of the diamond in Sanskrit is Vajrasana, or Vajra Asana, Vajra, diamond seat, asana, right? All Buddhas in all of history are always enlightened in a city called Vajrasana or Vajrasana. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter which Buddha you are. You will be enlightened on the seat of the diamond, the place of the diamond. So he went there so that he could make offerings at the site of the great enlightenment. And this is a place called Bodh Gaya in India, right? That's its name these days. And here you can see a picture in Bodh Gaya of the Bodhi tree that Lord Buddha sat under to get enlightened. So he went there so he could make offerings with what gold he had left. And then one day, after reaching the seat of the diamond, he spent some time at the great temple, walking around it in prayer and sometimes pausing for a rest. There was a woman there as well, and she was dressed in red. And as he watched her walking around the temple too, he noticed that for a while she would be stepping on the ground, and then for a stretch that she stepped in the air itself, and then on the ground once more. And then there was the lady in green, and she walked at the side of the red, and she said but four things. I don't feel so well today. I have this urge to get going somewhere. It would be better if people didn't have to die. Death is a frightening thing. That is all she said. Remember, this guy, he spent 12 years studying the higher teachings. Now he's going home. And he's just sitting there enjoying Bodh Gaya. And these two ladies are walking around. They're just chatting with each other. And he's eavesdropping. And he hears this. The lady in red turned to the green, and with a sideways glance at the master translator, said but four things in reply. She said, "My dear, once you've learned to be satisfied with whatever comes to you, you will find happiness no matter what happens. Your problem is that you are never satisfied." My dear, once you've learned to leave your mind in one place, you can go wherever you want. Your problem is that you've never learned to leave your mind in one place. My dear, once your mind has sunk into the Dharma, even dying is an easy thing to do. Your problem is that your mind has never sunk into the Dharma. My dear, once you've realized that the mind is beyond all beginning, there is no death at all. Your problem is that you've never realized that the mind is beyond all beginning. And with these words, all the sadness that the master translator had ever felt in his heart melted away. All the Dharma that he'd ever heard suddenly took on meaning. And he would say that at that moment, he gained his greatest realizations of all. And that's the whole Lojong. And then the guy comments on it a little bit. And there's one other point here. At the end of these very holy Lojongs, they trace the lineage. They say where the lineage began, who taught it to who, and to who, and to who, and who taught it to who, right? Lojong lineages are often at the end of a Lojong. He says, by the way, I'll tell you the lineage through which this teaching has been passed down to us. It was spoken first to the master translator of Sumpa by the pair of the holy angels. The lady in red and the lady in green. Anybody have any guesses who they might be? A lady in red and a lady in green.
The two Taras, green Tara and the red Tara.
You're close. The diamond Sao Vajrayogini in red, the Lady of Liberation, or Tara, as Awilda said, in green. These were the ladies in red and green. Pretty sneaky, huh? Pretty sneaky. So you think they just happened to be there and he happened to eavesdrop on them? I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. I'm just pinning Kadrin so I can see her, make sure I'm not speaking too fast. There we go. So that's the first lojong. And now we're going to go into a second lojong. And this one is called Herein Contained Are Advices Granted to Lord Atisha by Two Angels, who said to him simply, practice the wish for enlightenment. So this is a lojong that Lord Atisha heard one day. And it begins, I bow down to my precious Lama. On a very special day, once Lord Atisha was training his mind in the wish for enlightenment, bodhicitta. While circling a holy place on foot. Off to the east, then, up the sky in the direction of the seat of the diamond. So he was looking in the sky, right? In the direction of the seat of the diamond. And again, as always, the name of the place, this is the name of the place where anyone gets enlightened. So off to the east, then, up in the sky, in the direction of the seat of the diamond, the site of Lord Buddha's enlightenment, he saw two women. Their bodies were something just beyond a human form, but something just short of the divine, and they were covered in precious jewels. The younger of the two made as if to ask a question of the older. What method would a person have to train themselves in if she or he hoped to reach their enlightenment very quickly? And the older of the two replied in the way of the secret and said to the other, a person who hopes to reach enlightenment must quickly, most quickly, should practice the wish for enlightenment. That's all she said. And then they give this commentary in one sentence. They say that these two women were the Lady of Liberation, Tara, and the woman of ferocity. And the woman of ferocity is another form of Tara, a different form of Tara. And that's the last of the two lojongs that I want you to hear. Very holy. So I'm going to unpin Kadrin and open it up to the gallery where I can see everybody. Would you, those of you who are in the class, I'd love to see your faces, all of you. Thank you so much, Olga and Chu. And Han Ben, hello. Thank you. And now is our time. Hello, Valerie. Thank you. Home. Oh, everybody's starting to open their cameras. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So now is our time, your time. We have at least an hour to share how you've used the Lojong. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd really like to encourage you to send them to me, and we can put them in a little book and share it in our class. So we can help each other with ideas of how we've used the Lojong and how we can continue to use it in our lives. So I'll give you let's see, I'll put it in the chat. I will give you my email. And if you could send me a written copy of 1, 2, 3, as many that you would like to share, that would be really cool. You don't have to put your name on them. They can be anonymous if you're shy. Please help everybody out here, right? We're committed to bring everybody to enlightenment. So it's our responsibility to do that. So let's first start with sharing here how we've used the Lojong. So raise your hand. Don't be shy. Janet Chen, thank you, Janet, for stepping in and sharing with us first. It's always the hardest, I think.
All right. So I shared on a chat that my
Hi.
that my client had a seizure. That's why one day I had to change my focus. She had a seizure again yesterday.
Mm.
And I'm in a Nagarjuna class with Lama Sarani, and we're talking about objects and subjects, and there's no object, and the subject is there's no subject. There's no object and subject. There's the you and the object, and there's no you and there's no object. There's just the interaction. And I told my classmate, privately that that seizure was coming from me. And she said, "No, no, it's your past karma. And you had an enemy and now you have a way to make up for it." And I said to her, "The Wheel of Knives says the real enemy is from you. That enemy is not, it's not the enemy. It's coming from me." And she's like, "Oh, I took ACI 14 a long time ago. I forgot." And I was like, "But we were just talking about this in the garden." And so why would she have all these seizures, right? I thought it was because my lack of focus. And so and the lack of focus had to do with depression, as I analyzed it. The lack of focus, it's really easy to watch Netflix and eat Easter
Slow
candy.
down for the translators.
It's really easy to eat Easter
Slow
candy
down for the translators.
and watch Netflix because I feel so depressed about the like really low-lying depression. But then that's my lack of focus. My lack of focus is coming from wanting to escape. And so I did a little bit of four powers around that. But then the seizure happened again. And I guess the classic one when people are like really sick is the death meditation, that we really have very little time here. And then the other thing that came up with was the quality of the interaction. Like when someone's really sick, you hold their hand. So when someone has a seizure, they're out of it and then they come back into it. So Pam had the seizure, I held her hand. And then when she came out of it, she pulled her hand away and she's like, "Why are you holding my hand?" She didn't realize, or maybe she knew she was out of it. But when you're angry with someone or you're annoyed with someone, perhaps one of the safe quality interactions is like they're really sick. And maybe you don't literally hold their hand, but you might just sit there with them as if they're sick until that anger and annoyance passes. And then when they come to again, it's a different moment. Or when actually you come to again, when you get over your anger and annoyance. But in the meantime, it's the bump on the log or the holding of the hand. So there was like a little lesson in that, like if someone has a seizure and someone's really sick, wouldn't you treat somebody that you're angry or annoyed with as if you treat someone who's out of it and they're sick? Because you're the one who's out of it. You're the one who's angry and annoyed. Wouldn't you treat yourself? Wouldn't you hold your own hand until you came out of it? And then you're
Yeah.
back into, not being angry and annoyed again. I mean, if you set your goals like you'll never be angry and annoyed, that's perhaps a bit too high, it's gonna happen.
A little
So
bit of a high goal, right?
yeah, well, Lama Sarani said that one of the things she experienced is that she sets her goals too high, and then you're not able to attain it and you're kind of disappointed in yourself. So maybe I just have to like say that my seeds are good enough for now, and I'm doing okay because I'm receiving teachings and it's at my own pace. And yes, I do get angry and annoyed and depressed. And then, you do a 4 powers or Vajrasattva 100 syllable mantra around it. And then that's it. And then you really have to, if nothing exists, if there's no subject, no object, it's just the quality of the interaction, then improving that quality wouldn't be such a bad practice. And the ways you can improve it are if someone's sick, you could hold their hand until they come to. You could just be nice to them for that moment. If my boyfriend is being annoying, I should be in, this is the husband in the kitchen again. Be nice to him while I'm annoyed with him, and then my annoyance will pass. Hopefully. And so yeah, so that was the Wheel of Knives with Roxana, who I'm in the Nagarjuna investigators, that this isn't undoing some karma. This is about me projecting that seizure on that person. And everyone tells me that seizure's not coming from you. And I didn't know, no, I could say this to you and maybe Lama Sarani, but everyone says, no, that seizure has nothing to do with you. And I could probably go to my Ney Lama. There's probably 3 people I could go to that wouldn't say that to me, that wouldn't say, because that seizure was coming from me. So, and it's the Wheel of Knives. It's because it's
It's
coming
a,
from my past
it's the
actions.
Wheel of Knives. It is all coming from our perception. We don't know what the other person is experiencing, right? Whether they're experiencing a seizure or not. It's a, you know, it's a very fine line. I've had this discussion with other students as well. And it'd be fun to have this discussion with teachers. What you are perceiving is your perception. You are perceiving them having a seizure, right? You're labeling what is happening. You're seeing them in this particular way. You are not, and Geshe Michael's very strong about this. You are not forcing them to have a seizure. They are experiencing what they are experiencing, and you are experiencing what you are experiencing. You can change your reality. They can change their reality. You can't change their reality for them. And we don't even know what their reality is, right? Because they're having their own projection of what's going on. So, like when she had the appearance of coming out of the seizure, she pulled her hand away. Who knows what she was perceiving, right? So it's something we have to play with. And so, like I had someone say, but I'm causing this person to have cancer. I'm causing this person to have a seizure. The only thing we can take credit for is that we have a perception of them having cancer. Could they be a holy being? Here's, the crux of the question. Could they be a holy being presenting this to us so we can clean up those karmic seeds that are forcing us to see it this way? So again, as you say, it's this interaction. And are they separate than us? Are they us? Are they a mirror of us? These are deep, deep questions to look at. So yeah, we do have to clean up our karma. You do have to clean up your karma, Janet. And I have to clean up my karma, right? Yeah. And I haven't seen emptiness directly, but I take Geshe Michael's word on the authority because I have tested it and he has never lied to me. And he says that exactly what your friend said to you, you are not causing them to experience a seizure. What you are experiencing is your projection. Cook it. And thank you so much for sharing that story. Because for me, the Lojong part of it is I would hold my hand going through that. So why shouldn't I be kind to somebody else when they're angry, when they're upset, when they're depressed, right? And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful takeaway. We hold our own hands through it. Sometimes we beat ourselves up too, right? And then we step back. Thank you. Natasha, you were next.
I wanted to start by thank you for teaching such beautiful and special teachings. Um, I I thought a lot about it before coming to this class, and I looked for the materials, and what I found out that if I take any verse out of any lojong, it can become my own personal lojong. For example, in the class 7, I think we talked about 12-step lojongs, where we practice to be loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind. But you can take any sentence, any verse out of these 12 points, and it can become your own personal lojong. So what I really like about this course that it's not like a practice long way course. It is a course compiled of so many different practices that you can choose and make it your. And on the personal level, what I'd like to share is that I was really touched by the practice of poa. I guess the seeds open up for me this way that I really started to think about what's happening when you die and how you can make this beneficial to all living beings. And so now every time I go to sleep, I will dedicate all my good karma to 2 kinds of bodhicitta. And if I remember, I will give everything I have, including my good karma, all my possessions and whatever I have, to all living beings who need it, dedicating to end of suffering to everyone. And when I wake up, if I do remember, I try to remember. I made a commitment to myself to print those power pages and put it in front of my bed so I don't forget when I wake up. To remember that everything I do is to the service of others. And what I really found helpful is how it was suggested to use our own body as a reminder when we move from one space to another. So me coming to this class, I can remember, okay, I'm doing this for the benefits of all beings, and I dedicate to end all the suffering, whatever it is your theme or whatever your dedication is today. So that's what I wanted to share, that it is really a practice that doesn't stop. It's like Meister Shanti Dada and Lojong. It's not really what's written, it's really what touch your heart and how you making it to live after the class.
Thank you. Yes. That's cool that you printed out the the POA practice. Sweet. I think Awilda had her hand up next.
Thank you. Thank you for the teachings. Thank you for being here. Yeah, they're all so powerful. The wheel of knives, the wheel of karma. In my practice, I just want to share that I've been practicing this for many, many years, and I have been able. I went to a class I started with a class that was with Geshe Michael, and we had what was called certain prayers to do in the mornings, and then we would have a book that we would discuss, and then I met Geshe Michael, but I never stopped doing the prayers. And the prayers include the sources of all my good, the three paths fold, metta, the 8 verses, which were very powerful, which were something I've been working with this for years, and the mettas, which is a form of, I believe, Lojong, because in the metta, I'm bringing in my mother and father. I'm bringing in my spiritual teachers and the ones in the world. I'm bringing in the people who suffer. I'm bringing in the people and I see them and I bring them in. And I'm bringing in especially the people who I've harmed with my thoughts and my words and my actions. And so I've been doing this practice for many years, and I want to share something that happened to me many years ago when my father and mother were still alive. I would visit my parents in the summertime. And my father was a hard nut. And because of all his pain and his suffering, and because of Buddhism, I realized that, I see this suffering in him. And the one thing I can do is do my metta for him and do the 8 verses with that metta. And I would constantly be praying for him and constantly be asking that may he be happy and have the causes of happiness. May he be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May he never be separated from the everlasting happiness beyond suffering, and so on. And I would do this prayer constantly. In my heart, I would see him sitting in front of me constantly. And about 2 years after I had started this, I went to visit them that summer, to the second or third summer after I started to do this very diligently every morning. Something in my vision shifted. I saw him different. I saw him soft. He actually gave me a compliment, which he never did. He actually asked for my advice, which he never did. And I said this was all because of the Lojong. This was all because I was practicing the 8 verses. This was all because I was doing the mettas and my practice in my meditation every morning. And I was so happy. And I said, I have to continue doing this. I can't stop, because if I stop, I'm not planting the seeds to see him differently. Needless to say, my practice came and go, for all time, comes and goes, comes and goes. We meditate, we don't meditate. Life takes us this way, takes us that way. And I went back to seeing him almost the old way, not quite, almost. But my heart was full of compassion and more love for him and more understanding of the pain that we all live in and the suffering that we all live in because of our misunderstanding and our ignorance. And it really bubbled that thought in my mind constantly. So I practice the 8. I love all of them. They're all great. And I interject them in my life. But in my meditation, I practice the 8 verses. May I see every living being as a gem, because they're going to take me to enlightenment. And may I see myself as the lowest and bring them as the highest. And I practice this constantly when I get upset with somebody, when I get angry at something, especially angry and upset. I practice saying to myself, this is a bad thought that's come to my mind. Let me stop it with force, for it's going to hurt me and it's going to hurt them. And then I say, let me treat them as the highest and let me treat myself as the lowest. And let me give to them something that will give them joy. So I take from my meditation, I take my practice into the world so that when I see it happening, I use the 8 verses. I may not know them. I may not know them exactly word by word, but I know them in understanding. So, so I'll do certain things that I know the person will be happy with because I know that person's feeling overwhelmed, even though I'm upset with the person. And even though I'm accused, sometimes with cause and sometimes without cause, my mind has accusations about that person. So I have to work on my mind, constantly accusing things and seeing things. And I've been working on telling myself, be silent, don't defend yourself, and see where that's coming from within me. And so the Lojong is, to me, exchanging myself for the other. And especially now with this great pain that I've been having that has been subsiding, finally, starting to exchanging myself for the other and taking the pain of others suffering with cancer, with being in jail. I go through the gamut and I just take on their pain because I have great pain and I give them the merit of my practice so that they don't suffer. So it's taken me years to get to this point, but I feel like this class 14, although I took it before, I needed to take it again because I feel like it's solidifying and it's culminating and helping me be more focused and stay on task. So thank you very much. I don't know if that helped.
Thank you for sharing your practice with us. Yeah. There's lots of hearts. Svetlana.
Я не могу сказать на английском, я прошу переводить меня. У меня для меня очень
cannot speak
сильно этот курс был
English.
тем, что я
I'm asking to
пришла тем,
translate
что я
myself.
не имела намерения,
I
желания видеть.
didn't have a
Что такое?
decision to.
Да. Я пришла на курс, не
I
имея
came to the course
понимания,
without
как
understanding
это прийти к
how
просветлению.
to reach enlightenment.
И для меня случился
And for
такой
me,
очень серьезный
it
момент,
was a very hard
который я
moment,
чувствую, что он изменил
which
меня.
I
Я
feel
увиделась в
that it
какой-то из
changed me.
медитаций, я все время
In one
размышляла,
of my
что
meditation, I
такое
was
прийти к
thinking about
просветлению,
how is it to reach
как это,
enlightenment? What is it?
страшно, не
Is it
страшно,
fearful?
и вообще,
Is it
что это?
not
И в
fearful?
какой-то
And
момент
what it is?
у меня случилось такое
And one moment
состояние,
I realized
когда я
that
видела все как бы со
I
стороны,
have seen
но
everything
одновременно была
from a
внутри.
side, and I was
Условие было
inside
такое
simultaneously.
конкретное очень. Я оказалась
I was
между людьми.
in
Люди
between
впереди меня,
people. Somebody
один
was
фронт,
in front
люди
of me.
позади меня.
Some people were
Я
behind me,
поворачивалась к этим людям,
and I
туда,
turned to them
в одну сторону и в
from one
другую,
side
и
to another
говорила,
side, and I was talking to them.
это очень больно,
It
вам
was
будет
very
не надо,
painful. for you. Please don't do
еще
it.
что-то говорила. И
And
я
something
видела
else.
вот себя той,
And I
которая
was seeing myself,
очень сердечно,
the person who is
именно с пониманием
from my
той боли,
heart, from
какой
understanding of
вот
the pain
претерпела
which
все эти
these
люди.
people will feel
И
later.
я понимала, что эта
I
ситуация из
understood that
меня,
this situation is
каждый
coming
из
from
них,
me, every one
вся эта
person,
история.
all
У
of
меня
them.
очень много гнева, у
I
меня
feel a
очень
lot of
много
anger.
претензий.
I feel a lot
Я
of anger to
И
other
в этот
people,
момент
and I work with it.
я
I
увидела,
judge
как с
others.
одной из сторон
And
вроде
I
как
was seeing from one
на
side
меня
that
направляется что-то типа огня.
like
И
something like
я в
fire
этот
going
момент,
to me
это
from
был
one
очень
side.
короткий
And in
момент,
that
это было
moment, it
очень
was a
конкретное
short time,
переживание.
but it was
У меня
hurried.
было потрясающее
I
спокойствие,
I
не было
was
страха
totally
вообще.
calm.
А у
I
меня
didn't
было
have any fear.
состояние, я внутри,
I felt like I'm
но
inside,
я и не я,
but
и я
it's
еще
not
и снаружи.
me. It's me and
И
not
в этот
me.
момент,
And I'm
когда
inside and I'm
меня
outside.
обнял огонь,
And
я
the fire
успела
covered me,
подумать,
and I
пусть
was
весь
thinking,
гнев,
may all
все
the
страдания этих
anger, all
людей
suffering
и
of
вообще
these
всех
people
живых существ
and every
сгореть
living being
сейчас, прямо
fire
сейчас.
in this fire in this moment,
И я не
right
ощущала
now.
боли,
And I didn't
вообще
feel any
не
pain
ощущала страха.
at all,
И
no
я
fear at all.
ощутила
I felt
какое-то очень глубокое
very
умиротворение.
deep
И
calmness.
эта картинка исчезла.
And this
И
picture
это
disappeared.
переживание закончилось.
This feeling
И я
stopped.
понимаю, что этот курс
And I realized
конкретно
that this
был для
course
меня таким
was for
решающим,
me
потому
like
что
decision
я
making.
думаю, что он перевернул мое
I
восприятие
think
мира.
this course changed my
И
mind
я
totally.
смогла. Это
And I
очень
was able
веселая
to.
история.
It's
У
very
меня
funny
бывший муж,
story.
с которым
My
мы
my
конфликтовали
ex-husband, we
много
have
лет,
fight with him
25 лет мы вместе
25
были, и
years.
25 лет
We have been
была
together,
борьба,
and it
борьба
was fight
эго. И
of our ego.
у него было 2 апреля день рождения.
He
И
has a
я ему
birthday
позвонила и
of April
сказала, ты
2nd, and I
потрясающий,
called him and I
ты
said,
очень
you're
ответственный,
great,
ты
you're
очень
very
сердечный и
responsible,
добрый человек.
you are a very kind
И я
person,
счастлива от того,
and
что
I'm
ты
happy
есть со мной
because
до
you
сих
are
пор. И я
with
люблю
me
тебя.
still, and I love you.
Вот такая история.
This is my story.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. And thank you, Kadrin, for translating. We have time for some more stories, some more of your stories. How about you, Enrique? Or two?
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, Enrique, thank you. Would you show us your face?
My first what?
Would you turn your camera on?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I share my experience.
Thank you.
Well, when I first read this verse, may I think of every living being as more precious than a wish-giving gem for reaching the ultimate goal, and so always hold them dear. When I read this verse, I was extremely impressed by the approach the Lama made to me to look at all beings as jewels that grant all desires. So this day, I decided to go out and start looking at all beings, at all living beings, at all beings, the way the master intended. What an amazing experience. When I practice it, I feel that I am walking on a pure land, surrounded by Buddhas who are willing to help me find the path of my liberation. Is awesome. I also keep in mind that all the suffering I experience as a result of my interaction with the Buddhas around me is my karma that manifests itself to purify it. And when I perceive that one of these Buddhas is suffering, I understand that he is giving me the opportunity to generate merit to continue advancing on the path of my liberation. And I do not miss the opportunity to take advantage of this situation. This course has been a life-changing to me. Really a life-changing to me.
Thank you. It's a very special practice, Enrique, going out and seeing everyone around you as holy beings leading you to enlightenment. This is kind of the foundation of the higher teachings. And so it's very special and holy. And yeah, this course changed my life too. I think that's maybe why it's so close to my heart, because it really changed my life. So thank you. I'm so glad that, we're so fortunate to have had it passed down to us. Yeah. Thank you. How about somebody from Vietnam? Hong or Trudeau or Tilo Lua? I don't know how to say your name. Nguyen. Would one of you like to share how you've used Lojong in the last 5 weeks? Don't be shy. And then, what about you?
Ngoan ơi, em dịch giùm chị được không Ngoan?
Chị đọc chậm với chị nhé.
Ngoan ơi, em dịch sang tiếng Anh giùm chị nha. Dạ, biết ơn cô cho em cơ hội được chia sẻ.
I'm so grateful because you give me the opportunity to
Tuần
share.
vừa rồi thì em ứng dụng
This
Lojong
week,
khi mà
I
em đang phụng
practiced
sự
Lojong
cho sự
when
kiện 30
I
tháng 3
volunteer for the
của
event
Connie và thầy
of
John Reddy về Việt Nam.
of DCI Vietnam of teacher John Brady and teacher Connie.
Trong đó thì em có ý thức rằng là khi mà em phụng sự lớp học thì tất cả
I
những cái người học
realized
viên
that
đó họ đều
when
là
I
những viên ngọc
volunteer,
bảo rất là chân
so
quý
I
giúp cho
realized
mình có
that
cơ hội
every
để mình có
student
thể
in the
huấn
event
luyện tâm trí của
is
mình
the
và mình
gem
dùng bằng một cái
that
thái
I
độ
can use,
khiêm cung để mà phụng sự cho những cái người học
that I
viên
can
ở
practice.
đó và cũng như là em ứng dụng vào việc em nhìn thấy
I
nhìn
see
thấy mọi người như là những
everyone
angel
as
trong
angels
cái quá trình phụng sự đó. Và cuối cùng thì
in the event,
khi mà em ứng dụng cái điều đó em cảm thấy là cái buổi chia sẻ
and
đó nó rất là tuyệt vời.
I feel that
Và
event is so
cái sự kiện
successful
diễn ra
and
rất
I
là tốt
feel
đẹp khi mà
grateful,
thấy
and the
mọi người rất là
ending
hoan hỉ với
was
nhau và tử tế
happy,
với nhau.
and everyone was happy and cherish each other.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have opportunity every moment of the day, right, to use Lojong. Yeah, it's so sweet. Thank you. Go back to gallery view.
Dear Lama, there is a question
I
from
know, I
Vera.
was just going to look at that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the question in the chat and reading it. So this question is from Vera, who she's asking about, well, she's saying, first of all, that her daughter gets angry at her. And I think all of us, I don't know, I have a son who gets angry at me too. Or gets frustrated with me. And she's asking, because I'm being forced to see this person angry at me, right? My karma is forcing me to see them angry at me. Is my child being angry at me hurting them? Right? Is that your question, Vera? Clarify that? Yeah. If we see somebody harming somebody else or themselves, we're being forced to see that. If we're going to save all beings, we are sworn bodhisattvas to stop them from harming themselves. Now, what form that takes depends on the situation. What is the best thing we can do to stop someone harming themselves by being angry at us? Where is that anger coming from? Yeah, I love it. Everybody has the mudra. It's coming from us. So if we want to stop somebody else harming themselves by their own anger, we have to work on our anger. And we have to work on it down to the tiniest little irritations, right? It's like Janet, who started this whole discussion. She has to work on her own focus. That's the karma that she sees for someone having seizures who she cares for, right? And we have to be really, really careful with it. Even if we don't think we're angry in this life, we have lived previous lives. And if we're seeing something, we have planted the seeds for it to appear in our world. So yes, we need to stop others from harming themselves. If you see somebody robbing somebody else, you stop them, not because you're angry at them, but because they are harming themselves. They are planting the seeds. So what's the best way to for someone not to plant the seeds for what you are perceiving? And of course, we have to remember it's all coming this way. We have no idea what anybody else is experiencing and seeing. And it takes a while. It takes a while. My relationship with my son, it's a lifetime practice. And we love each other dearly, and we like to do things together, and we both get irritated at each other. I mean, it's what parents and kids, and it's a practice. It's a practice. He gets hurt, I get hurt, and we don't want to hurt each other, right? And I can say that for me, my relationship with my son has only gotten sweeter over the years. And we both work on it. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Thank you, everybody, for sharing and questions. Is there anybody else who would like to share? I see people are leaving class. Thank you, Valerie, for having your camera on. Well, if we're all done, let's offer some prayers.
Avilda raised her hand.
Oh, last minute. Short one. Go for it, Awilda.
A short one. I too have my relationship with my son that's been very difficult since I moved in with him, and it's taken years. But I've been working on because of the lojong and my studies. I've been working on my irritations and my anger and dedicating it to see the world differently and others see it differently. And I also have seen our relationship get sweeter. And what I said before is that what I do is not only work on my irritations and my own angers and try to work on that through the 8 verses. I also am practicing not, like we learned as a Bodhisattva, you don't get angry at someone who's angry at you. You don't hit someone who hits you. So when he's upset with me and he gets riled up with me because he's irritated at me for something, I practice silence, and he's okay with that. I don't react to him. I don't argue with him. I don't agree and I don't disagree. Sometimes I'll just nod my head and I just practice not defending myself. I try not to because I used to defend myself, and that would get him more angry. Then I realized I'm the cause of my own irritations by continuing defending. So I'm working on not even defending myself when someone is angry at me, and keeping as much silence as possible. That's allowed in the relationship. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that because I live with him, so it's hard. So it's very difficult. Mother and son relationship as you get older. Sometimes the roles change. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna, are you available to lead us in the prayers, our last prayers of this class, offering this pure world that we are creating through our lojong practice? Thank you.
Hello, please let me know if you can hear me now. Okay, perfect. I have some magic with my devices. Hashi Puki Jukshi Metok Tram. Rira Blinkshi Ninde Genpa Di. Sangye Shinktu Mikte Urvar Ki. Droku Namdak Shingla Chupar Shok. Идан Куруратна Мандала Камни Ретаями. Гева Ди Гево Кун. Сунам Еше Цокзокшин. Сунам Ешеле Джунглей. Танпа Куни Тупар Шок.
So thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. And please continue to use the Lojong. You've got a big, full toolbox now, right? And pull out a new one every now and again. Work on one at a time, right? Because different ones will feel different for different situations, right? It's like you don't always want to have the same thing. You want to be able to have different tools for different jobs. Revisit it, pull it out, and thank you to Natasha for asking me to teach this course because I get to revisit it as well. I've taught it several times. I don't remember how many times. It's been at least 3, maybe 4 times, and it is one of my favorite courses because there's so much material there to be able to, we would say in English, sink our teeth into, right? It's usable. We can chew on it. We can work with it. It's usable. It's not just intellectual, which of course, none of the courses are, but some of them appear to be more intellectual. This one is more digestible. And of course, it comes right after, if you do them in order, it comes right after logic, which is, gets the wheels in the mind going. So thank you, everybody. And please do, I'll put my email address here again. Please send me your written Lojongs and I will share them to the team and they will put them up so that they're available to everybody to look at. It might, send them to me by next Thursday, right? At the latest. Whatever day that, next Thursday. Morning, evening, whichever. And I will put them together and we'll get them up into the student platform. And I think they can be helpful in each of us. Oh, that's what they did in that situation, right? So please send them in anonymously if you want, but let's help each other to reach enlightenment together. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely to meet new people here too.
Thank you so much for Ven Gyelse.
Thank you. And thank you to the interpreters. Thank you to Kadrin and Natasha and Elena and who's doing Vietnamese? Whoever's translating into Vietnamese, thank you. Thank you to everybody who did tech for us. Thank you to the home office for advertising, for setting up the student platform. There are so many people involved in this. So please, when you see them, thank them, right? Thank you. And thank you to all of you for practicing. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, teacher. Please stay.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lama. Thank you so much.